The Palm Beach Civic Association expands its communication outreach with a state-of-the-art television studio. We call it Studio 33480, the zip code for the beautiful island of Palm Beach. Sponsored by Finley Galleries, our goal is to bring you in-depth interviews with the most colorful and knowledgeable personalities on the island. And now, our host.
Welcome to Studio 33480. I'm Wendy Rutledge. Just about everywhere you look in this beautiful island, you see evidence of the charm and the character of Palm Beach. Question is, can we keep it this way? Can we preserve that charm and character? So with us today to talk about that and much more is the chairperson of the Landmarks Preservation Commission for the town of Palm Beach, Sue Patterson. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Wendy. Great to be here.
It's so delightful to talk to you. And this is a big topic. But I think, and on your suggestion, you said, let's start with Palm Beach. It's delightful, it's special. Why?
Well, it's unlike any other place I think I've ever been, certainly unlike any place in Florida. It's very unique. There's so many beautiful spots. So a lot of it, why do we love it here? Partly because we have taken for granted all these beautiful landmark buildings. So if you take a stroll down Worth Avenue, right now you'll see really pretty twinkling Christmas lights. It's just the best window shopping. But if you go around into the other little areas of town, the C streets, the L streets, there's just so much character here, and it's sort of unmatched by any place else I've ever been.
Yeah, you made the point that there are, 845 miles of beach. We
That's
all
right,
have
in
beach.
the state of Florida. Yep.
This isn't a particularly different beach than any other beach.
No.
It's the town.
It's the town.
So.
That's why we're coming here. It's, cultural. We have people coming from so many different places. There's so many interesting people, but I think we're all here for the same reason. We've chosen to be here instead of down the road.
And the architecture is phenomenal.
It's rich.
It is rich.
Yeah.
Good word for it. So you chair this Landmarks Preservation Commission. Can you just tell us what is the purpose of landmarking?
To preserve it. You can see how many buildings have already left us. And, with an influx of a lot of people who are moneyed and, the reason they're probably here is because of the fabric of the town, which could, disappear quickly in a few years if we're not careful.
If everybody just comes in and knocks a house down and builds something new.
Yeah. And
have we lost
new
it?
Construction is great, but not at the expense of one of our cherished properties.
Right. So, I think, and I've listened into some of the meetings that you all have, and I hear some kind of trepidation about older homes that, maybe they're money pits, and maybe, you'd throw a ton of money in, and you'd never get a house that works in, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to that?
Well, to give you a little my background, I fell in love with this because we did this to our home. We live in a landmark property, a Meisner home built in the 20s, and it had been abandoned for 17 years. So when you walked in, there was sand on the first floor. There were no windows, no doors, no walls. Really, you could look from one corner of it to the other. No plumbing, electricity. It was just basically a shell. And the process of bringing it back was really rewarding and wonderful. And a lot of people could say, "Oh, that's a nightmare," but we were really lucky to have work with great people, Mark Marsh and Hedrick Brothers, and we still let Hedrick come over when they have a prospective client so they can see. Some people have trouble envisioning how an old house could become modernized, and I think it was the best of both worlds because when you did see what was there, the bones were amazing of this house, and we brought in some other contractors to look and make sure it was structurally sound, and it really was. You're getting something, as they say, they don't make it like they used to or whatever. I don't know.
Exactly.
But that was rewarding, and so that's why
That is your gray elephant That's what you call it.
Yes, exactly. You're right. It did look like a gray elephant. It sort of sticks out a little when you're driving north on South Ocean, and it looked. I mean, it was right there, sticking out like a sore thumb. And we do have a great property in town, though. The white elephant was newly renovated, and that was a landmark property. Also turned out very well.
Oh, that's great. And, I think another misconception is, along with this money pit worry, is that you're never going to get any increase in property value by doing this landmarking restoration business, but that is not true.
That is not true. As you'll see, hopefully, when you super the top 10 reasons to landmark, Preservation did an extensive study on all things landmarking, and so there's a lot to take in there, but there is a list that they did for us of the top 10 reasons, and I know what really everyone's reason is. They think that their property is going to be worth less if it's landmarked, but in fact that's not true. And if you look at it in terms of a place like Nantucket, a lot of people love to go there. You accept that basically that area is landmarked. So I mean, we're never going to be like that, but there is something about it that brings such incredible value and makes it such a wonderful experience. Also, like New York City, a lot of people prefer pre-war buildings. Why is that? Because they have incredible character. And so we're just trying to hang on. It could happen quickly, like we were just saying. In a couple years, one house isn't, well, that one wasn't really so great. Well, that's okay if we lose that one. Well, this one, and pretty soon, you don't have a lot left.
We really cannot just overlook the importance of, we think, just knock this one down.
Right.
But there'll still be enough of the character. But if you keep that pattern going, and you have a very poignant little example about Worth Avenue. Tell us about that.
I would love to. So now that hopefully we have your attention, we love Worth Avenue, right? It's just all those little villas. Well, imagine if that were to go away because it wasn't protected. And now we have a strip mall. What? Probably wouldn't happen, but it could start to chip away at that. That's just something to think of. We take it for granted,
We do. And you can't even conceive of that.
No.
What? No Worth Avenue? Yeah.
Okeechobee down Worth.
Yeah.
It's really.
Yeah, that
but,
is.
But, people coming in from other places and the real estate values, I want to take that down. I want to build something bigger. It's happening in West Palm.
Yes, it is. Now, just to drive this home to the Palm Beach Civic Association, we are housed in the Paramount Building.
Yes.
Paramount Building is an old but incredibly charming building.
Is.
What would you like to see for a building like this? It's a commercial building.
Well, I like the Civic Association here. What a perfect tenant to be here.
Preserve it. Just
that's it.
Keep it, or we lose the character.
And there are people in town who have brought forth their homes to be landmark, and they should be championed. Kit Pannell, Lita Foster, and Mrs. Ailes. And we need more people to follow suit and do that. And I'm not saying, look, you don't have to buy a landmarked house. That's okay. I love, mid-century modern contemporary homes, but if you do, you need to take care of it. It's, you're just passing through. We're just a steward living here for the moment, and it's really up to us to take care of this town and wrap our arms around it.
We are just stewards of these historic properties. One more thing. You wrote in an email to me, and I loved this line, and I wanted you to explain it. You said, the fabric of this town can disappear in a few years just by letting these houses go without protection.
That's right. And that we only really have 300 landmark properties. So that's not really very many when you think of how many homes there are.
No, that's shockingly low. Yeah. I would have thought it was many, many, many more. Mm-hmm. So that means each one is incredibly special and unique.
Yeah. And we have now the historically significant buildings, too, which is a new program, which is a little less sort of down from landmarks, but it still, can preserve these homes going forward. They're usually smaller properties, but
still important little properties.
And it also has to do with just, various architects who have come in been in our area and we want to save their work as well. So it's not always just the big homes on South Ocean. I mean, there are, little neighborhoods and those architects, and so it's. I think some people misconceive, what landmarking is. It's not just the big mansions.
Can we send them all over to your house to check out?
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Please don't.
Yeah. Listen, thank you so much for being here. You've really given us a lot to think about, and I think you have blown apart some misconceptions that
I also think it's really important for the brokers in Palm Beach to take this on. They're really the first line of defense when they're taking around clients. And I remember back when we were looking 25 years ago, a lot of what you would hear is, landmarking is kind of a dirty word. We don't want to look at that. Have to deal with landmarks.
But where's the first place they take you if you're from out of town? Down Worth Avenue.
The breakers, whatever.
The breakers,
and
the
really,
iconic spots.
If they don't like it, fine. But I think there's a real misconception there, and I think our commission is really welcoming, really fair. We really want to work with the owners. We realize that people don't live like they did in the 20s and 30s, and we want to help you make the best out of your house for that reason. I mean, I had that opportunity to have all the great things about an older home and the detail and the quality of construction and modernize it.
Yeah, best of all worlds.
It was the best.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you,
coming
Wendy.
in.
Thank you
really,
very much.
Turned on the little thinking
I
cap
hope so.
here.
I hope so.
Appreciate it so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for us in the studio. We thank you, as always, for watching, and we'll see you right here next time in Studio 33480.
Studio 33480 is brought to you by the Palm Beach Civic Association, our sponsor, Finley Galleries, and our viewers. We welcome your thoughts on how our programming can best serve our members and residents.